Hey guys, it's Noah Uses Cameras here, and I'm coming at you from my studio shooting on the S5 Mark II. And by my studio, I mean my living room. I just wanted to use this video as an opportunity to test out some of the features, most importantly the quality. Honestly, that's pretty much all I'm doing, the color and the quality. And why is this happening on a Panasonic camera? I'm in focus. So I'm just gonna tell you guys my setup and kind of why I switched from the Canon R7. Because I had just started making Canon R7 videos, and I also just bought the Canon R7, which just came out. So yeah, I switched from the Canon R7 to the S5 Mark II when I found out that it was full frame, that it was only $500 more. And I knew that my R7 was still new enough and in perfect enough condition that I could sell it for this one. This has been my trend since I started doing video or photo or whatever. I got a Canon camera for my first camera, and then I got another Canon camera, and then I got the GH5. And then from the GH5, I was just sick of it, and I was like, I need autofocus. So I went back to Canon. That's when I got the R7. And I used the R7, and I liked a lot of things about it, but there were some things that was just like, this isn't really a filmmaker's camera, and they didn't pitch it to be one. They said that it was just a camera for wildlife and for sports and things like that. And I kind of was just offended by the Canon Cripple Hammer because they give you the C-Log 3, but they didn't really intend on filmmakers using the camera in a filmmakery way. Can I use the word filmmaker again? Can you tell I'm a Panasonic shooter? I wanted a full frame camera, and much like most beginners, I had two things I wanted from my very first camera, and that was a camera that shot log, which I had in the R7, and then a camera that shoots full frame, and I have in this camera. This is my first full frame camera, and I'm stoked. I don't feel as special now that they've brought the price down, especially now that Canon's brought out the R8, and pretty much most people can get a full frame camera. Before, it felt like that elite, class that you had to get up to. But now that everyone's footage is gonna start looking full frame, I mean, it's gonna lose that special effect, and that, that hurts the pride. That hurts the pride. But I'll recover. What am I shooting on? Okay, like I said, S5 Mark II, I got the Sigma 24-70 with the 2.8 aperture, and I have I'm shooting in Vlog 4K 10-bit 422 24p. So last night I went ahead and I checked out the 4K 422, the 5.9K 16:9, 6K 17:9, and the 6K full sensor open gate. And when everyone was doing the reviews on this camera, all I ever heard about was the 6K open gate. Nobody labored upon the fact that it shot 5.9K 16:9, and it shoots 6K 17:9. The open gate is cool, but you have to crop in on it, which I assume means you're gonna lose some of that 6K. But if you're shooting 6K 17:9, you're getting a similar aspect ratio to this. You don't have to crop in if you don't mind the black bars, or just use the 5.9K, which I'm sure isn't too much of a loss. And you can preserve all that quality in the same in the whole picture that people are going to see. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I don't study, but this is just kind of how my brain thinks about these things. So I'm super hyped. Not only do I have the new camera, I got this new lens, and it just looks beautiful. I have a tripod. No one cares about that. But if you're familiar with the videos from DSLR Video Shooter, he made a video about getting a YouTube setup $3,000 and under, or whatever, under $3,000. And I was looking for a budget tripod, less budget than this, like usable, you could tilt and pan, and it had legs, I guess, like real legs. That would have been nice. And he mentioned one in that video, and I looked it up. I got it, and here it is. It works so good. I don't know what it's called. I honestly didn't. I forgot. But you can go check out his video if you need a tripod that works nicely, because it does. Speaking from someone who's used it once. Might not last. Who knows? Let me know what you think about this camera. Would you switch from Canon to Panasonic? Would you switch from Sony to Panasonic? I will say, in my experience, the autofocus is not as great as the Canon camera is. However, it's good enough. I mean, autofocus just started getting really good recently, but it's been good enough. And most people may do with that. And here's something that's been going around in my mind. If you're a filmmaker or a photographer, you should be able to manually focus. I don't know why people think that we should just get rid of that skill and that it shouldn't even be a thought in our mind. Photographers did it forever before we had autofocus, and even while we had crappy autofocus. And sometimes there's things you can do in filmmaking where manual focus just is necessary. If you want to do some cool into focus, out of focus type junk, you just gotta learn to do it. Now, I'm not saying it should be mandatory. Sorry, my son is having a blast back there. Yeah, so, yeah, rant over. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Boca. Okay. Okay, this is 4K, 10-bit 422, 24p. Okay, now we're looking at 5.9K, 10-bit 420. This is the 16:9 version that nobody talks about, but I'm pretty stoked that I have it. Now I'm on the 6K 17:9. The one that also nobody talks about. This is a 420 24p. These are all 24p, by the way. Okay, now we're on the 6K. Sorry, my tripod's a piece of garbage. Now we're on the 6K 420 24p full frame. And I'm just gonna raise you up a little bit. If I can. Okay, so I feel like theoretically, because it's full frame, you should get some more bokeh, right? Or is that not how it works? Either way, okay. So we're getting the whole frame right here, but when it's put in post, I will be cropping in. So what you see is the crop in. Can't wait to see what part of me is on the screen.